Turn the recorder on. Share screen. So, what first stuff? All right. So, hello, I'm Liz Lawless, and this is the Dynamic Authors Group Tuesday Book Club. And we're so glad that y'all are here with us tonight because we have Jean Maxwell. She's going to be reading from one of her romance novels called Winter Symphony. So, just a little bit of background. Jean's a contemporary romance author from Western Canada. And so she is no stranger to winter nights and winter holidays. She was an artist and a musician as well as a writer. And so this story is really close to her heart in many ways. And maybe she'll share that with us during the Q&A. But Jean is a graduate of McEwen University and Northern Alberta Institute of Technology. And so she enjoys every season of the year and the beauty and the promise that they each offer. And so we'll look forward to future seasons. So this book is about winter, and then she has the series continuing, and it will address the other seasons. So maybe she'll tell us a little bit about that too. So we're going to start with her book trailer. And so, can everybody see the screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Great.
No, look through it. I hear nothing.
Yeah, need some volume.
Who's my other? Okay.
They're in charge. They're in charge.
I don't hear nothing.
Okay. Great. All right. So I'm going to stop sharing there real quick, and then be sure there's nobody else to let in. Okay. And then we'll go. So Jean Maxwell, we'll let you take it away from here. Did I lose you?
No, I'm still here.
Okay. There you go.
Can you hear me? Yeah. Yeah. So there, just needed a little bit more volume on that trailer because you're sharing your screen, which is sharing YouTube, which is so it's
okay. So it wasn't loud enough.
few generations back there.
You could read it, but you couldn't hear it.
Yeah.
All right, I'll play it again at the end.
Okay, no problem.
Sorry about
that. This book is entitled Winter Symphony, and it's not recent. It was released a couple of years ago, but as you read in my bio, I'm a musician, part-time musician as well. So this story was really kind of very personal for me because I was one of those band geeks growing up. You all hear about, that one time at band camp. Yeah, it's all real. But so it's not hard to imagine that a very deep kind of romance can blossom out of that, because while you all might enjoy music, musicians have a very intense relationship with the music and with other people who also perform music. So those bonds that are formed can be very deep and last for a long time. So this story is also different because not only deals with musicians, but also it's kind of a second chance romance where the main characters are not young people. They are more midlife and have reconnected after a long period of time. And both have been married, and the main female character is just ending her marriage and has a chance to reunite with her old high school sweetheart that she knew from school band in all those years ago. So I'm going to read from my Kindle screen, and so has to kind of set this up because we're going to, of course, start partway through the story. She has just asked that Jenna is the main character, and the object of her affection is named Brandon, and she has just invited him to meet her up at this mountain cabin that she has rented. He is, of course, the replacement conductor that by surprise showed up to take the place of her regular orchestra conductor. And that's how she hadn't seen him in years. So, all right, so this begins at chapter 6. Park by the tennis courts, she told him. I'll come get you there. The last 4 hours seemed the longest ever, waiting for Brandon to arrive at White Ridge. She'd cautioned him not to come until the next day, even though the waiting was hell. At last, around mid-afternoon, he called when he made the final turn into the gates. She disconnected and pulled on her coat. The day had dawned with more heavy snowfall, making the road up the hill from the main lodge nearly impassable for anything but a four-wheel drive. Plus, the cabin's driveway had only space for one vehicle. All other guests had to park down by the main lodge. The Sequoia's engine roared to life, and she backed out of the lone parking stall. Her windshield wipers swished aside the growing layer of snowflakes as she drove down the hill to meet him. Turning into the main parking lot, she spotted Brandon's Acura facing the tennis court. Drifts of snow had piled up against the wire fence both inside and outside of the court. She pulled alongside the Acura and pushed the button for the automatic window on the passenger's side. Brandon did the same. Pellets of snow whipped in diagonal lines between them. He gave her a warm smile, a knowing smile. It made Jenna think of a beloved farm animal, knowing it was being led to slaughter, yet completely trusting in its master. Hi, he said. Welcome to White Ridge, she said, returning his smile. Valet service, sir? Oh, you bet, he said, hitting the close button for the driver's window. This snow is crazy. Jenna hit the power lock switch for her doors. Brandon retrieved a duffel bag and an instrument case from the back seat of the Acura and pulled open the passenger door of the Sequoia. This cab for hire? He joked. Sure thing, buddy. Where to? He placed the bags in the rear seat and climbed in. To hell. Or heaven. I'm not sure which. Maybe both. Step on it. Jenna grinned and threw the gear shift in reverse. It might be heaven, but I'll give you a hell of a ride there, she promised herself. Any trouble finding the place? She asked, looking out the rear view, trying to calm herself in his presence. It had never been easy, as she felt as giddy as her 16-year-old self again. Oh, the turnoff was well marked. Didn't expect the road conditions. What sort of place have you lured me into? Kind of off the beaten track, wouldn't you say? I'd say more like perfect. She felt her cheeks burning as she grinned even more widely. She glanced sideways at him, and he looked out the window as they drove, observing the snow-laden spruce that bordered the narrow road. Perfect, he echoed. We can pick up firewood here, she said, slowing at the top of the road where a metal lean-to sheltered neatly split bundles of birch. Would you mind? Oh, not at all, he said, already opening the vehicle door. She watched him grab a bundle in each hand and step around to the back of the Sequoia. She hit a button, and the rear hatch floated noiselessly open. Damn, these new SUVs were slick. Clunk, clunk, as the bundles hit the cargo floor. Brandon closed the hatch and hurried back into the passenger seat. Snow had already settled on his hair and his shoulders. Thanks, she said, and moved the vehicle forward again to cabin 11. She realized that number 11 stood furthermost into the woods from the ring of other cabins in this loop. Subconscious Freudian decision? Maybe. She drew to a halt and put the SUV in park. Here we are. Brandon nodded. Here we are. Oh, wait a sec, he said, getting out. He walked to the driver's side and opened the door. Jenna laughed, because no one had opened a door for her in a long time. It felt both sweet and pathetic at the same time. He carried the wood bundles along with his duffel and case as she led him inside. She hung his coat next to hers near the old ski rack. Make yourself at home, she said, gesturing to the couch. He looked around the place. Nice, he said. I can get that fire started for you. Okay, kindling's in the basket there, she said, pointing to the fireplace. I'll make you a drink in the meantime. Do you want wine or a rye Coke? He smiled and tilted his head toward her. You even have to ask. Jenna chuckled and nodded. Rye Coke it is, she said, and moved to the kitchen to mix it. She took in all the sounds around her. the clink of ice cubes against glass, the strips of wood being stacked against each other, and the strike of a match. She wanted to remember everything about this moment. She smelled a hint of sulfur as the match blazed alight, and she inhaled the oaked vapor of the whiskey as she poured. It occurred to her that she hadn't even thought to bring a CD player or an iPod or even a radio. How ironic for two people to whom music meant so much. They would have nothing to listen to. But he brought his trumpet. Maybe they could play a duet. She turned and watched Brandon as he crouched on the hearth with his back to her. He nurtured the small flames ablaze by adding one careful piece of wood at a time, building a pyramid of sticks that allowed the needed oxygen to enter beneath. She crossed the room and bent down next to him. "We have ignition?" she commented, handing him his glass. He glanced at her sideways. "I think so," he said. His fingers rested against hers as he took the glass from her, "but it might need some fresh air." "Plenty of that up here," she replied. His hazel eyes met hers straight on. "Sure is." He took a sip of his drink, then turned to the fireplace, blowing a jet of air into the tent of sticks. The flames shot up in response, consuming the slim tinder with crackling speed. Jenna smiled and held out her free hand. "Come sit." He took it. They moved to the big couch and sat down to admire the growing fire. "I'm so glad you came. I wasn't sure you would." Brandon sat silent for several moments. "I wasn't sure myself, but certain things made themselves clear to me in the last few days." He sipped his drink and gazed into the fire. "Other things, not so much. I guess I'm still wondering what's going on in your life and in your head. Do you make a habit of cheating on your husband?" "God, no," Jenna said, taken aback. "I could ask the same of you. You make a habit of cheating on your wife?" "No," he said quietly. "Tell me what's going on." She took a deep breath. "It's over. I don't know what snapped exactly, but I just know I can't live that life anymore. I can't live with him anymore. We're just planets apart. I should have seen it long ago. He doesn't care about me, about what's important to me. I mean nothing to him." "Oh, that can't be true," Brandon said. "Maybe it's just your perception. Don't throw things away so easily, not like I did." "Oh, you mean with Nina?" "Partly, but I mean that you should focus on what you've got, not what you haven't got." Jenna scowled. "I plan to focus on what I want, not what I've never had." Brandon drained his glass in one final gulp. "I see." "Another?" Jenna asked. "Why not?" She took both their glasses and mixed another 2 rye cokes. It occurred to her that they should probably eat something if they were going to keep drinking. The notion dismissed itself as ice cubes splashed into the dark liquid. Eating could wait. She returned to the couch with drinks in hand, watching as he added a few split logs into the fire. "Here's to what we've got," she said, offering him his drink and raising hers in a toast. Brandon stood and took his glass from her. "And what have we got?" he asked, a smile tugging at one corner of his mouth. She sat down, looking up at the flickering firelight reflecting in his eyes. "We've got tonight. We've got this place, this privacy. Let's make the most of it. There's a bed upstairs. I'm not here to take advantage of you. You're in an emotional state. Are you sure that's what you want?" "I told you what I wanted at lunch the other day. I'm not looking through a cloud. In fact, I think I've never seen more clearly. I want to be with you, Brandon. Is that so hard to understand?" He gazed back at her, his expression amused but cautious. "No, I guess I'm just surprised." "Surprised? What? That I would be so forward? That I would still want you after all these years?" "I never stop wanting you, Brandon. It may be crazy, but it's true." He shook his head, his expression turning apologetic. "Well, no, I believe you. I just think I'm more surprised at myself. I should know better than to open old wounds." "What do you mean, old wounds?" Jenna laughed. "Yours or mine?" Brandon looked away into the flames, the crackle and snap of the fire, the only sounds around them. It seemed even the fire mocked him, the sounds punctuating the anguish he felt. He should tell her everything. He knew he should. He wanted it all to come out now. Life was indeed too short, just as she'd said. All that wasted time. "I just don't want either of us to have any regrets." Jenna inhaled a long breath and then let it out. "Neither do I. If you truly have no desire to do this, if it makes you uncomfortable, you feel there's just too much at risk, then we won't. I won't ever speak of it again." He stayed silent for several moments. He didn't mean to be evasive, but wanted to be sure she wasn't just on the rebound or trying to get revenge on her husband. I'm not with Trish anymore. I'm on my own again," he said quietly. Jenna didn't respond immediately. She swallowed with difficulty as though her mouth had gone dry. I didn't know. Seriously, Brand, I didn't know. It's not why I invited you here to pounce on you while you were vulnerable. Brandon made a sniffing noise. Didn't you? He knocked back his drink and set it aside. He sat down next to her and leaned forward, elbows on his knees. He looked at her face, outlined by the glowing flames. The sun had set in the past hour, and except for the fire, the room lay in darkness. We never contacted each other for years. Why else would you start this now, unless you knew something had changed? Well, something did change. I changed, Jenna confirmed. I had no idea you would turn up on the podium at North Shore, and I had no reason to think your situation was any different than ever, but when I saw you, I just realized I needed to be with you, and I hoped you'd want to be with me, just for a while, no strings. Brandon chuckled at her choice of words. Is that a pun? She let out a low snicker in response. No, maestro, I meant no strings attached. They knew each other so well. They could find humor even in the darkest corners of their lives. The fire continued to pop and hiss, the moisture steaming out from the frozen logs he'd piled in it. Well, the answer is yes. Yes, I want to do this with you. We should have done it a long time ago. Well, we did do it a long time ago, she reminded him, in your apartment after rehearsal. And you told me then you wanted to do it again. Now it was his turn to laugh. Yeah, well, I didn't think it'd be 20 years later. I knew what you meant, she affirmed, but I was getting married in a few days. Too little, too late. But what you didn't know is how my heart leapt when you said it. Seems our timing has always been a little off, hasn't it? He admitted. Jenna clucked her tongue. Well, now that really is a pun and the understatement of this century. Brandon nodded silently, rubbing his hands together. Look, for whatever reasons, we were never together for real, Jenna continued. I never asked you point blank why, and that's one of my mistakes. And I don't need to know. I've made my peace with it. All I really needed to know was that if I reached out to you now, would you respond? And you did. That's all I need. And here we are. Please, Brand, just let us give each other this gift. You're wrong. There's so much more you need to know, he whispered, his voice barely audible. You have a lot to lose too. Why would you take this risk? It's over between Matt and me. What do I lose? She leaned forward, her face close to his. She tilted her head slightly as if signaling to think about it. My career is established. I've raised my kids. The RSPs are in the bank. There's not really much I can screw up at this stage. If I get a divorce, Matt would still end up paying. You know that better than anyone. She reached out and covered his hands with hers. What I would lose, though, is this chance for true joy. And so would you. He brought her hands up to his mouth. He considered his next words carefully, as he always did. Do you not feel anything for your husband? Nothing? Jenna looked a little disturbed at this question. Listen to me, she began. I've been a faithful wife for 20 years. I gave, he took. I had some mean things said and done to me, and I put it behind me. I've fulfilled my commitment. It's my time now to do what I need, what I love, what fills my heart with joy. The commitment was till death do us part, as I recall, he countered. She blinked and drew back slightly. Really? I don't see either Nina or Trish lying 6 feet under, pal. Touche. He let it go for now. If Jenna was right, if she was being truthful, what she proposed was magical. The human capacity for love was truly extraordinary. Where did it say that things had to be all or nothing? You could love your spouse, your children, your parents. Loving any of them didn't diminish your feelings for the others, but one needed the love back. Like everything in life, there were wants and there were needs. If the wants are not satisfied, you're disappointed. But if the needs are not satisfied, you die. It's very simple. He understood now. They were both dying in their own ways. And I'm going to end it there. You can probably imagine what follows, but I won't read that part.
I can't imagine what would follow that. No.
Ooh, alone in a mountain cabin with the fire going.
That was great. You did a great
thank
job
you.
reading.
What I tried to do, or what my kind of writing mentor always said, was try to invoke the senses. You know, if not every paragraph, at least every scene or every page. So I think that's something I try to do a lot, and just make you see things, feel things with the words. Yeah, earlier in the book, I mentioned something about band class, how when she thought about band class, she could practically smell the stale insides of a rented instrument case and the smell of valve oil and cork grease. And one of my band friends said, I could smell it too, just reading that. So if I can do that for people, then I've done my job.
Yeah, you did a very good job with that. I was thinking that while you was reading, because I got that advice as well. And so as you was reading it, I was like, I can see that. Oh, I can feel the warmth of the fire, all of that.
Yeah, there was a lot of great detail there. I was noticing that right away as the pieces and the twists and turns, very finite little details.
Yeah, when the cabin is actually based on a real place. It doesn't exactly look the way I described it, but there is an actual place with rental cabins very much like that.
So when you're writing, does the ideal come to you first? Is it the dialogue, or is it the characters? What kind of?
During the writing, or when I'm just kind of imagining the look?
When you're just starting, is it?
It's usually just the title. Some authors don't put the title on the book till the end, which is sometimes a good thing. But the title usually suggests where things are going, and I do use dialogue a lot, just because I like to impose some wit and humor into the conversation. So I do use dialogue a lot, but that often just comes to me as I'm writing it. Once in a while, I'll think of, that'd be a cool line to say, and I'll write it down and then come back to it the next day and incorporate that into the story. But yeah, images in your mind and clever dialogue and the overall arch of the story by way of the title, sort of most of the things that get me going.
Right.
Did you find that years ago I started writing a fiction novel and then stopped. But one of the things I found was that it kind of took on a life of its own. I was kind of as excited to see where it was going as a reader would be. Do you find that when you do yours?
I do, and a lot of authors I talk with say the same thing, is that it takes on a life of its own. Sometimes you write something and you went, wow, did I just write that?
Yeah, okay,
and it goes in a different direction altogether. It's like the characters themselves are now talking to you. They're jumping up in the, yo, me, I want to tell my part of the story. So that's very much the truth. It's kind of like the old story of the sculptor who said that the figure was already in the marble or the wood. They were just hacking the pieces away to get to the story that was already there. Yeah. So you're quite right.
Anybody else have a question?
I just can't wait for the next chapter for you to read where they went. I'm figuring they went to the mall shopping, but it could be better.
Yeah. The mall was far away.
They went out skiing or something.
Could even be better than that, huh?
Yeah, no, they went and chopped more wood. Yeah.
Is that what you're calling it? Okay.
That could work. So the series that Liz mentioned about the seasons, it's going to be a spring and an autumn and a summer, and but they're all going to be musical influences.
Is it going to carry the music thing throughout?
Yes. Yeah. So it's going to be, this Winter Symphony, that title came to me a long time ago, so I didn't really give it much thought, but the rest are going to be like Spring Sonata, Autumn Aria, stuff like that. So, and it's going to be a different musician, like a different instrument. One will probably be a vocalist, one will be a conductor, and haven't decided on the other one yet. So. So the series is called Overtures, so it kind of fits.
Play on words.
Cool.
Play on words, yes. Exactly.
Hi, Esther.
Hey, how are you? Thank you so much for, I think I got something from you via email.
Good, glad you could join us.
Janice, you know what I think would be really, really neat? Being that you have a musical background and you know, you used the word like band nerd, so you have been in this arena for a while. You know what I think would be awesome is if like for each series you had some kind of, not necessarily a whole soundtrack, but a couple of tracks to a CD that could go with the book.
That's a good idea.
Maybe your music, or maybe music that flows with the winter, the autumn, and the spring, that someone could pop in and listen to as they are, you know, relaxing, or after they read the book, or, you know, that kind of thing. I think it would be really neat.
I'm one of those people that stays to the end of the credits at the movies.
Oh,
Mostly
I
to
am
hear the
too.
music, because probably the best parts of the overture and all that are all you hear at the end. And most people have already walked out, and it's such a shame.
I
They're missing
don't.
out.
Yeah.
So that's a great idea. Like, and unfortunately, like recordings of my own group, I don't really have any good quality recordings, sadly. But you certainly, a playlist of some kind could be put together. That's a great idea. Extra marketing.
Yes.
So
And
have
don't
you?
forget,
That's
buy the
right.
companion CD.
So have you done in your books in audio?
I have not.
Okay, the reason I was saying when Alicia said that, I said, well, maybe you can consider that and putting music into it, you know.
Into the audiobooks. Is that commonly done? Is that I don't even own it.
Oh, I don't know. I've never done it. I'm interested in it though.
No, but you know what I have seen? I have seen, you all know that I have a YouTube channel. Well, there are YouTube channels with readings of people reading their own book, and they add sounds to that. So, I mean, you can say, you know, for a series of, I don't know how many chapters you have, but if you have 6 chapters in a book, and so you know that each week that you read a chapter, or each day that you read a chapter, they know that that series is there. So you would put that in your title, but you would add the music to the background of you reading, or during, you know, a small intermission or something like that. So I have seen that.
Well,
and YouTube is very fairly easy to do, especially when you're not doing all the crazy stuff that we're doing. If you if you're reading, you know, the books and things like that, that's pretty, you know, easy
pretty simple,
to do.
yeah, pretty
It's pretty
straightforward, yeah.
simple. Yep.
Alicia, can you drive us or tell us at least one place I can go to watch something like that, or just put storytelling readers or something?
Because YouTube is like Google. So when you go to youtube.com, then there's a search bar that comes up, and you can say read aloud books, romance novel read aloud, or something like that, and then you'll have a series of videos come up. So yeah.
And they're mostly read by or narrated by the author themselves?
There's a variety. I mean, I'm not gonna say all of them. No, I guess it's like 50-50, because some people do hire people to read their book out loud.
Well,
and then some people do
in,
that, but a lot of people do read their own books. If I did it, I would read my own book.
And it's not that I think I have a wonderful voice, but I think if you're the one that wrote the stuff, you have all that emotion behind that to make the point of what that sentence and what that phrase was supposed to mean, or the hidden meaning behind it, just by inflection and stuff like that.
Yeah, we could tell as you were reading too, you know, when you were smiling.
There's a lot of me in my characters, let's put it that way.
Do you ever talk to your character? Do you chastise your characters?
I've never done that. But they do tend to take on, like we said earlier, they tend to sometimes take you by surprise and start talking to you.
Okay. Well, that I'm reading Cicely Tyson's autobiography.
Yeah.
And she said that when she would get a script, at some point it becomes her. Cicely stayed at home, and she is now that person, that character. And you can see that in her acting, you know. Sounder and the autobiography of
great actress,
Pittman. And so she don't even want you to call her name on the set.
Oh.
She wants the character you to
total immersion. Yeah. That's interesting.
Reading with the music, I think that's even better. because the sound, listening to the music and the story you're telling, that's romance. I mean, you get more thrills and chills.
Sets the mood for
And it
sure.
could be
Yeah.
subtle. It could be subtle music.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I can tell you that I used to do some speaking engagements, and we did a comparison online where we played the same piece with and the same piece without, and it was just background music, but that fit the piece.
Yeah.
It wasn't overpowering that you almost sometimes you had to listen to hear it, kind of deal. And any of the pieces that had the music always got a higher rating of response from the audience, always, every time.
Yeah.
Mm.
And they didn't say because of music, they just said it was more interesting, it was more fulfilling. There were a lot of, the responses were always greater if they had background music of some sort.
Mm.
So I think that
Interesting.
you're right. I think that makes a big difference.
I think it would too. Yeah. So lots of work to do, something to think about.
I love your Aurora Borealis there.
Oh yeah. I figured, well, I guess I should put something wintry in the background there. So I have to make.
If you want something wintry, you can come visit me
Oh yeah,
in Dallas.
I got plenty right here.
Well, you know why I was late getting on? Because I got on just when my tower came on.
Oh,
Liz
yeah.
had mentioned that. Yeah, that could be a case.
Yeah, we
Yep, didn't have power.
But you just got, so y'all been out all day or half?
About half the day, from about 10 o'clock on, and it came on just when I came on. I was sitting there, and all of a sudden the lights went on. I went, good, I still have time, you know. But that was it. It was, yeah. You want wintry? Come on down.
Oh yeah, no,
No.
I've had this since November. I've had quite enough already.
I want to be where I see somebody who's sunny over there.
Yeah.
Why?
That's where I want to be.
Yeah.
We're in
That's where
Hawaii.
I'd like to be. You betcha. I know. Yeah.
We all would.
Yeah. No kidding. Right now.
I've been wanting to ask them, have you heard anybody say Hawaii? They never say
What?
Hawaii.
Well, you know,
Natives.
it's a whole language here, but it's Hawaii. The W is more like a V, and the emphasis is on the I's. So it's Hawaii.
You know, you mentioned that. I have to tell you a side story. I used to go to New Orleans all the time. And I had a roommate when I was in college who was from there. And he had the most interesting way he introduced himself. Because I said, hi, I'm Jay Stephen. And usually because of my name, that gets a rise. Everybody says, now are you Jay or Stephen? It's, no, I'm Jay Stephen. You know, and then they want to do a J-A-Y instead of a letter J. But his was even better. Because he went, this is how he introduced himself. I said, hi, I'm Jay Stephen. He went, first of all, it's New Orleans, not New Orleans.
Yeah.
Second of all, it's Louisiana, not Louisiana. Hi, my
Yeah.
name is Mike. That's
Yeah.
how he introduced himself, and I always remember that.
Yeah.
New Orleans, not New Orleans, and it's Louisiana, not Louisiana.
And
My name is
here
Mike.
it's Newfoundland, you understand.
Newfoundland. Yeah, right.
Oh, no, we watch the news and stuff like that. So you really hear, and you know, the volcano that had erupted, Kilauea, you know, on the Big Island, it's still erupting right now. But it's, the crater is, we always thought it was Haley Mamo, but it's Haley Ma'u Ma'u.
I love it.
Okay.
He's got that extra Ma'u Ma'u, Haley Ma'u Ma'u.
So are you saying na 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 at us while you're in Hawaii?
No.
Uh-huh.
Hester, it's part of the plan. It's part of the
Oh,
plan.
okay.
This was the plan, and we achieved our goals.
Okay.
Good
I mean,
for you. Good for you.
I'm just talking about the snow and the power's out, and the, you know, and I'm looking at you guys, and you know. But
It's the
hey,
plan.
I love it.
It's
I love
funny.
it for you
It's
all.
funny. My family comes out of the woodwork when we get snow and blackouts. All of a sudden, I hear from people I hadn't heard from in years. Oh, how's the weather down there? Oh, okay, good. Nice hearing from you, Uncle Frank.
I know I had a girlfriend, her brother passed away last weekend, and it was that 40 below vortex over Wisconsin, and she had to fly up for, making
Services.
arrangements and stuff like that. It was like, she was
Yeah, my
wintering. She
sister-
was wintering in Florida. So she had to fly back up
came
on
from
her
Florida
birthday. Fly up on her birthday into the polar vortex.
I do miss Orlando. I was there 12 years.
Yeah, they wouldn't have a snowstorm like this, like you guys are having, would they?
What, Orlando?
Yeah.
Oh no, never. They could maybe have a dusting. My son lives in Orlando. I lived in Fort Lauderdale for years. We never had snow, but you could have a couple of nights that would be 40, 39. It was funny because we'd have people come down and visit us from the north, because most of my family's from Boston or New York. And they'd come down and visit us in November, December, and they want to go to the beach. And we go to the beach with them. We go, okay, go to the beach. We go to the beach with them. They're all in the ocean going like, we're sitting on the beach with sweaters and blankets and going, God, it's cold.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, it's summertime,
Yeah.
We always thought that was comical.
Jay, you just said Boston. You didn't say Boston.
Yeah.
My mom, I could always tell when I had a couple of aunts up in Boston. And I always knew when my mom was on the phone with them because I'd hear her saying potty in the car. We went in the car. And I said, are you on with Aunt Louise, Mom? Hey, how did you know? Because she would right away revert back to that Bostonese.
Yeah. When I'm around my Jamaican friends, I talk like my Jamaican friends too. So
yeah, sure. You kind of revert right back to it naturally, right?
Yeah.
It kind of happens. Yeah.
Well, when we were in Europe this last time, several people had commented on how Bojidar still had his had the right accent, because he's been 50 years from living in Montenegro, but everybody was saying how he's kept a perfect accent. So
interesting. Wow.
That help when you communicate with the people who are visiting you from there, and you flip your tongue there with the accent. It's easier to communicate, and they don't look at you like a stranger. Some years back, I was walking in a street where my old house was, and I just felt sad because it's all ruined. So a bunch of children, like maybe 7, 8 years old, 6 of them, 5, 6 of them, walking, and they said, "Look at him, he's a stranger. Look at his clothes, he's a stranger. Look at how big he is, he's a stranger." And I finally turned around, I said, "Listen, why don't you shut up? I'm not a stranger, I'm from here." And one of the guys said, "Hey, he's ours. And I asked him, I said, "Where are you from?" And he said, "Right here." I said, "You live right here?" "Yes." "And I know your dad." He looked at me. I said, "Go call him up and tell him Bobo wants to talk to you." So you go over there, Bobo, dad, some guy named Bobo wants to talk to you. "Bobo?" "Yeah." So he come in, he got tears in the eyes, he hugged me, and he said, "Dad, who is this guy?" He said, "He lives right here. See the windows over there? That's his house." He said, "Yeah, my dad constantly talk about you, what you guys did and stuff like that." I say, "Yeah, don't tell him everything because
don't believe everything you hear."
But that's the thing when you flip your tongue and people listen to you right away and they know you're from there. A lot of times, you because in English you different accent and try to pronounce the word correctly and stuff like that. So this threw you off. So you have to come back with your accent where you come from, with your accent where you grew up and stuff like that. So that helps.
So the kids were saying that in your language, right?
Yes, they were talking, they were talking
Montenegrin,
in Montenegrin, and then he answered back in Montenegrin.
Yeah, I answered back
funny.
with the same flip of the tongue. And the same flip of the tongue, I said, "Where are you from?" They look at me. And one of the guys said, "Yeah, that's ours. He's ours." I say, "Yes,
he's ours."
It's funny. You remind me when the kid said he did, by looking at you, they knew you weren't from there.
Different clothes and different walk too.
Well, it's funny. My kids and I have 2 boys. We used to play a game. We would be at the airport, and we would, how when people are coming off the plane, you only see where the plane's going, not where they're coming from. And we would all try to guess where those people were coming from. And it was really funny because if they were coming from New York, Northeast, they always were in black and gray. Right? Yep, if they were coming from Florida, they looked like peacocks, they had colors and, all this kind of stuff. And if they were coming from Denver, they had on like jeans and plaid shirts and usually boots. And it was really funny. We said, you can really tell pretty much where people are coming from in this country by how they look getting off the plane. It was really hilarious.
You really got New York on the money.
Oh yeah. They never wear any color. And of course, Dallas here saw a lot of, they were easy with the cowboy hats and the boots and the jeans and the big buckles. So I mean, we knew Texas. But it was really, we were amazed at how you could tell where people were from by the way they dressed.
Based on, yeah.
Yeah. It's real. Oh, and then I forgot California because everybody was sparkly.
Oh.
You know, they all they all look sparkly when they get off the plane. Sparkles in their hair and, you know, tattoos and all that stuff. That's what my kids said. They're sparkly people. I said, yeah, they're coming from California.
Well, I'm sorry that I was late getting on. I did a presentation for my church, and I just happened to look at my phone. That's all. I got to go. I got to, you know. So, but I like to be able to come on early enough to see part of it. I came in. She was talking about a fireplace, and y'all was saying chopping wood, and I said, "Is that the new
thing?" Liz is going to play the trailer again at the end here. Crank up the volume. Great. So that kind of gives you the whole story in a nutshell.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so let me do that. I want to share screen because we've gone a little bit over, but I want to keep, oh, wait, sorry about that. Hang on a second.
You mean before Zoom cuts us off?
Yeah, no, Zoom's not going to cut us off, but we, you know, we said kind of 8 to 8:30, but we've gone to 8:45 a couple of times, but I got to reopen the link.
Doesn't Zoom have like a,
and it's 9:45 over here.
45.
Yeah,
the free version is 45, but if you buy a subscription, it's $20 a month. It's not for unlimited, so it's not a.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
If you Zoom a lot, that's okay, I guess.
Yeah, I had to teach an online course, so I was simple
That's
enough.
Good.
$20, I could risk it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, while she's looking for that, so in teaching your online course, how were they able to pay? Did they, you know, you got paid, right?
Oh, it's kind of a long story. I taught night classes for a local tech institute here for years and years. And I just happened to meet up with a publisher in town who got some student help. So they came from this placement system. So the placement group had funding for education, as long as, you know, if a business would take them on kind of as student apprentices, they would help pay for some training in the same industry. So I ended up just taking most of the content from my tech school classes and rolling it into a format for them. So I'm actually getting paid by the funding people. That is when the check finally gets here, that is. So that's another story.
You have to wait on the check.
Yeah, it's kind of not been fun, but
the world we live. The world we live.
Yeah. She said I tried to talk the boss into electronic transfers, but they want the paper trail. So all right.
All right.
So crank up the volume.
Can we expand this?
Yeah, you can hit the bottom right there.
And I want to be sure the sound's all the way up.
I sure would. I want to learn how to do all of this stuff. You guys are great. You guys are great with this stuff.
Beginning.
Come back here.
You drag the button. There you go.
Yeah, there we go. What?
Crusade.
Oh, you.
Well done. Well done. Nice piece.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's great.
piece.
That's
So
great.
Kind of a simple trailer, and what I was telling the group earlier, I'm loading these recordings, and so I'm going to load them to a Dynamic Author Group YouTube for our book club. So if you've got some kind of trailer, you've got something that you want to add to that, we can add that to it as well. So be thinking about that. Oh, did it go to something else? Hang on a second.
Went to the next video.
Make it stop. Make it stop.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to depart. We have winter weather, we have sunny weather, and we have all the different, no, we don't have all the seasons. We just have the 2 seasons. Where are you?
Yeah.
Where are you in Texas?
No, Janice is in-
We're having snow again tonight.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'm having
second
snow,
time.
but it's been here since November, so
Yeah, you guys are
Wow.
used to it. We're like babies. We don't know how to drive. We
it's
don't
like,
have money.
what is this? What is this stuff?
Well, yeah, nobody's on the roads. We all hunker down. Well, because in Dallas, if you get a dusting, tomorrow it's 70, it goes away. To have a whole
Yeah.
week of it, nobody knows what to do.
Yeah.
Oh, really? So it's been cool
Oh,
for
yeah.
quite a while. Mm.
Oh, it's been not cool, isn't the word.
Oh,
Cold.
Fair
I
enough.
mean, well, as an example, what was today? High of 12, low of -2.
Yeah.
Yesterday was a low of 0 and a high of 9. I mean, that's unheard of. Every day it says
Wow.
we're breaking a new record. Every day, pipes are busting everywhere. People don't know how to. You guys are used to it. You know what to do and how to do it. Here, nobody has any winter clothes like
Well, that's
to
true.
wear
But
for
you
that
know,
kind of stuff.
surprising. Every year when the first snow comes around, it's like they've all forgotten how to drive for
Really?
that first day.
Oh, yeah.
Ah!
Yeah, Wisconsin too. Wisconsin too.
Well, my
Really?
sister's in
Okay.
Wisconsin, and she said it was 8 below, 8 minus. She's in
Yeah.
Tomah,
Yeah.
Wisconsin.
Yeah. No, it's
Well, we're tired of it. I think
Yeah.
Saturday and Sunday we're going to get back. Normal for us right now is the low 60s, and by the weekend we're going to be back to the 60s. Thank God.
I'll take that.
not
Yeah,
how-
yeah, that's nice.
How long are you guys going to be in Hawaii? I just need to know this.
June.
I stay in the rest of my life. Linda gonna go out, so I just want to stay here. This is wonderful. I don't want to go no place. That's why I
Wow.
told her earlier today. She said, "Oh, yeah." I say, the time gonna come. We have to go to move again." And she said, "Yeah, I don't want to move. You can go. I stay here. I love it here."
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
pretty-
no, we got a wonderful deal, wonderful people. We're renting an apartment, and it's fabulous. Fabulous. We really.
Fabulous. You can say it loudly. We got it.
Yeah, speak up.
I haven't put my travels on Facebook yet with my friends because I thought, oh, I don't want to be shamed for. But in the same respect, I mean, like I truly say, this was the plan. That a long time
Yeah.
ago, there was a plan on to
That's
spending
great.
long periods of time in Hawaii, and we love it here, and it's paradise. It's
Where
So
are
are
paradise.
you
you
in
guys
Hawaii?
going to do it every year?
Probably we've been doing it for about 3-4 years, 4 years.
Oh, okay. This is not your
Where
first
in
time.
Hawaii are you?
We're on the island of Oahu, but we're on the windward side in Kailua. We're 2 blocks from the
Okay.
beach. Two
Yeah,
blocks from the
nice.
beach. And yeah, at night when it's quieter, we can hear the ocean. And
Okay.
That's
Come on,
enough.
come on.
Next.
Hester, you asked.
Yeah, you asked. That's right. No,
Have to
but,
take the chain
I-
out and beat you in the back.
Linda.
you all guys
Yes.
are welcome to stop by
Well,
and look at it.
Volo.
Yeah,
Does the moon follow you there?
Does the moon follow? Yeah.
everywhere.
Oh, the full moon here from on our lanai here. We're on the second floor off the lanai, and just that big open sky, and it's dark. We're on a little like side street that doesn't have street lights. So I mean, and it was huge moon.
Yes.
Just
Wow.
huge.
Is that the ocean behind you, like behind those houses?
We're 2 blocks from the ocean. 2 blocks.
Okay, so what's behind you? I see houses right behind you, and it
Yes.
looks
Yeah.
like behind them. That's just more island. Okay, I couldn't.
Yeah, no, it's just kind of
That's a
the
cloud.
island around here. We're on roughly a 10-foot by 20-foot lanai here. It's really fabulous. And, you know, it's just the ocean's that way, 2 blocks that
Okay.
way. The,
Okay.
and when there's a mountain range on the other side of us, there's a mountain range called the Ku'ulau Mountain Range.
So Linda,
And-
you're on your patio, right?
Run our lanai in Hawaii. They're lanai.
Excuse me.
we've been corrected.
Even up on the second floor, it's still a lanai.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be ground level. Okay.
No.
If it's outside, it's a lanai, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
I never heard that first one. She said to me, Molly, visiting Linda's friend, she said to me, let's go on a lanai. And I thought we got to go some different place or something. Looking, where is it? She said, right outside. I said, no, that's a balcony or porch. We in Wisconsin call it porch or balcony.
Balcony,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. She said to me, oh, no, boy, this is lanai.
Terrace
Oh,
or
sweet Lord.
something. Yeah.
Now I have to learn a new word now. Oh, honey, come to lanai.
Sounds way cooler.
tropical.
Yeah.
A lot of tropical places. Florida refers to it. Phoenix refers to their outside as lanai.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I'm going to depart.
All righty.
Seeing you all.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Nice to
Thanks.
see
Good
you.
seeing everyone. Great job, Janice.
Oh, thank you.
You sure did.
He
Yeah,
wants
well
to grow up
done,
to
well
be
done.
like you. He wants to grow up to be like you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a
Take
good
care.
night, everybody. Sleep
All
tight.
right.
Yeah,
Take
Nick,
care.
It was wonderful.
See you soon. Thank you. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
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 We'll talk offline and then I'll, let me say end, hang on.